The best-selling manga in history is finally back, man. This break wasn't as bad because I've had a lot of Kuro no Kiseki to play. I had a lot of things to do last week. Last week was an extremely busy week. So I was like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. And plus, it gave me an opportunity to reflect, really think about the previous stretch of chapters, which is among the greatest stretch of chapters in the entire series. And now that the anime has returned, and with Film Red officially out in terms of us knowing exactly what it's going to be about, and now all we have to do is wait for August 6th, / whenever in the world it comes out for all of us, right? Like whether it be in October, November, December, whenever the movie ends up coming out, it'll be there for us. But for right now, it's been a lot of heavy One Piece related greatness happening. And in the midst of that, we're having a new chapter this weekend. And Roof Piece taking place in the anime in what is undoubtedly going to be one of the best episodes in the entire series. Based on the content, based on what they're going to be adapting. And so we are in for an incredible weekend. And so I can't wait to see what Oda has in store for such an occasion. Right? And now listen to me, man. 1047, because I think, now don't quote me on this, but I think that we are going to be on break next week, because I think it's a Shonen Jump break next week. And so this might be chapter, then break, or if it's like we get sometimes where whenever there's a break week, we end up getting a chapter the following week, and then there's no chapter the week after. So it might be 2 chapters then break or 1 chapter then break. I'm not sure. Because of course I'm not working for Shonen Jump. I don't do any of that stuff, so I don't know. But based on the fact that I've been doing this for a long time, around this time of the year, I know there's usually that chapter release, then break, and then, release and then break, because it's like a Shonen Jump break. So I think that's this week, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I think that's this week. Around this time is when that's going to happen, and we talked about that in the comments the other day about how that is a possibility to take place here within the next few weeks with release schedules and whatnot. But regardless, man, 1047. What is 1047 going to have in store? What do I want to see in chapter 1047 of The Greatness? Now listen to me. I'm a simple man. You know what I mean? I'm a simple individual. I just want to see the drums of liberation at work. That's all I want to see. All I want to see is more Gear 5th. I don't care at one point within the chapter we get this. I don't care at one point within the chapter we get to see more Luffy versus Kaido greatness. But somewhere within that chapter, I want to see a continuation of Luffy holding on to the Spear of Legend that he grabbed from Enel himself, taking it upon him and just coming out. Ooh, I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to see Luffy fighting with a spear? So whether he still has the spear in his hand whenever we see him fighting against Kaido, when it's spear versus mace, oh, could you imagine that? Could you imagine the panels? Could you imagine the panels? Luffy holding on to the lightning spear with Kaido and Mace, and they're just boxing. It's just, it's gonna feel like Star Wars Episode 3. Who has the high ground? I don't know. I have the high ground. Enel has the high ground. Luffy has the high ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo. So there's a lot of possibilities there for Luffy versus Kaido greatness. Obviously, if he doesn't have the spear intact, then we're still gonna see Gear 5th awesome sauce. And I think that's what's most exciting right now, is the fact that, we have all of this insanity happening, but all of us are just like, yo, just give us more Gear 5th. It's just, the transformation is so dope. What Luffy can do with it is so dope that it's like, just show me more of that. I want to see more of the creative flex on Oda's part. I want more he can showcase with Gear 5th, especially now that he has a potential item he's going to be wielding in this form, like a lightning spear. And so I want to see that. I want to see what types of panels can be created from that. I want to see what types of attacks and moves can be created from that. Or if he changes the names, like Gomu Gomu no Lightning whatever, right? Or can you imagine he remembers NL's attacks? He's like, yo, Gomu Gomu no Mamaragan. Can you imagine? L4! You know what I'm saying? So that would be dope. I'm not gonna lie, that would be so fire. Considering that he would remember back whenever he fought NL and whatnot, right? So that would be super dope. But realistically speaking, I do think the chapter will be structured in terms of, we'll probably, considering that we ended off on Luffy vs. Kaido, I'm going to assume we'll probably start off this week's chapter somewhere else. Hopefully, possibly a continuation to what happened with the Zoro and the Reaper plotline, unless Oda's saving that for post-Wano, but we could get a continuation on that. We could get a continuation on the Jinbei and Raizo side of things, ensuring that they took care of business. I could most certainly do that. I'm still hoping for the Momonosuke and Yamato character moments, especially with how they explicitly stated at the end of this week's chapter, or at the end of last week's chapter, that Onigashima was going to fall. Now that Kaido has shifted his focus entirely into the battle with the goat with the coat, I do wonder if that was Oda letting us know that Momonosuke is now going to need to completely hold up the island on his own, because Kaido's going to have no part in this. And so now what we're going to see is potentially Momonosuke's hour of legend as he holds up the flower capital, ensuring that it does not touch the people. And with the lantern plot line, I do wonder if we'll see that, like I said, either now for the finale of the fight, or after the battle's over. That's when the lantern goes up and we get to see the shadowy figure like at the end of Skypiea. You know, there's always that possibility there. And so I'm sure with the way last chapter ended, we have to, at the very least, for at least a page, see what's going down with Momonosuke now that he has to completely hold this thing up himself. So I would love to have a wonderful character moment there blossoming, happening from Momonosuke and for Yamato, or even if it's not this week, maybe seeing an update on the situation now that they have to 100% hold this island up, because Kaido ain't doing nothing. Kaido's just like, yo, drop it. Let's go. I'm having the time of my life. I'm boxing the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? So with his energy and his time focused there, explicitly stated at the end of the last chapter, we have to now switch at some point in time within the next couple chapters to Momonosuke and seeing how he's handling that. You know, that internal struggle and the external struggle. Because it's going to be extremely difficult to be able to hold this thing up, but it's something that only he can do. And so we're going to get some Yamato and Momonosuke character moment awesome sauce happening for those two. And I do wonder if Oda is explicitly not showing Denjiro for a purpose, or if he's just a forgotten character at this point in time, and we'll see him later on. Knowing Oda is probably both. You know what I'm saying? Knowing Oda is probably both. Like, yo, I don't feel like drawing Denjiro this week, and whenever he does show up again, it will be like, oh, that's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? And so we'll probably see some more of that. Because last chapter, we got to go all the way around Onigashima thanks to the water plot line. This week, I'm expecting it to be very focused, like probably split into like 3 sections or something, where we'll have the beginning be whatever it's going to be, then we'll switch over to Yamato Momonosuke trying to hold up the island, and then they'll see like the clashes and how the rubble is being destroyed. There's pieces of the island falling down because Luffy and Kaido are and then you see like lightning in the background. Imagine that. Momonosuke looks over, he's like, yo, that lightning, what's going on over there? Yo, and Yamato's like, yo, go with the code, and Kaido are probably going in. They're probably going in, man. And so that's when we switch over and we see, to end off the chapter, Luffy and Kaido going up in like swimwear. Now, another possibility for this week is, of course, awakening, man. We don't know what Kaido's awakening is. We know, based on last chapter, that he's obviously proficient in it because he knows so much about it. He gave us that explanation of what awakening truly is. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, because Oda specifically gave us that information, I do wonder if now for the final piece of this battle, we'll have Kaido utilize his awakening unless he's already within awakening and we don't know. Because the thing is with Kaido's fruit, any of those, the hybrid form, the dragon form, whatever it is, any of those could potentially be quote-unquote awakening. Him lifting Onigashima. You know what I'm saying? Like that's him utilizing his ability on other things. So, but because of raising the stakes, because of epicness and awesome sauce and spectacle, it would be really cool if Kaido, even among all of this, the reason why he didn't quote-unquote use awakening is because he was using that stamina to hold up the island. And so now that his focus is 100% on Luffy, it would be really dope if he's like, you know what? Now it's time. And he busts out his true awakening. And we have awakened Hyakuju no Kaido throwing down with Gear 5th Looney Tunes Luffy. It would be peak. It already is peak. Because you imagine that the reason why Kaido has not used awakening is because he's been lifting the island this whole time. And now he doesn't have to worry about that. He's like, now it's my time. Now it's go time. And maybe we end off this week's chapter in a similar way that we ended chapter 1003 when Kaido went into hybrid form for the first time. We saw like a silhouette. And we didn't get to see it until we returned back to the roof. We could get a scenario where Kaido enters awakening. I don't know if we'll see a silhouette, but maybe we finish off the chapter with him in awakening. Luffy, clash, and they go up and like swimwear. I don't know, man, because the thing is, with the way this battle's going right now, it's like the stakes could not be higher. And a classic Oda thing is to, when the stakes are extremely high, lift them a little bit higher. You know what I mean? Lift them just a wee bit higher. And what would be higher for the goat with the coat? Going up against the world's strongest creature. Then if now he levels up to his true final state in awakening. We have Gear 5th Luffy throwing down with awakened Kaido. Both of them at their limit. They have to surpass their limit. They have to limit break, Final Fantasy VII style. They have to limit break in order to take each other out. I don't know where Kaido's flashback and force is going to fit into all of this. That's been in all the predictions videos up until this point. We could get a piece of that this week. We could get it next chapter. Whenever it's going to be, because the thing is, it all depends on how Oda wants to structure it. If he wants to have it in the middle of the battle, or if he wants to have it after the battle ends. Regardless, we're here for it. And I do think if Kaido is going to awaken, considering that he's now focused his entire energy on Luffy, this is the week. This is the week for Momonosuke and Yamato greatness for holding up the island, and this is the week for a potential Kaido awakening, if he's not already awakened. Because if he's already awakened, then of course, now we're just going to see Kaido utilizing stuff he hasn't even used yet. Because this entire time that they've been fighting Kaido, specifically Luffy, has been fighting Kaido. Ever since Roof Piece Part 1, he's been using a piece of his energy to hold up the island. And so now that he does not have to expend that energy elsewhere, now that it's focused, anything's possible. Anything's possible! You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's about to get crazy. But base, what I want to see, I just want to see Luffy versus Kaido, man. Real talk, I just want to continue to see this. I want to see what more craziness Luffy can use in this form. I really want to see if he's going to use this spear for real. Whether if that was for one panel, or if we were actually going to see him boxing with a spear. A lightning spear? Like, are you kidding me? And so all those possibilities are out there. I can't wait for it, man. But until this weekend, I will see y'all on Thursday night. If the chapter comes out then, if not, I'll see y'all on Friday morning for the awesome sauce, man. It's going to be a good time. I'll see y'all then. Of course, we're going to be live, not only just for the chapter this week, but for the episode as well. And so I'll see y'all then. Have an awesome day. One Piece greatness. Let me know what y'all want to see in this week's chapter in the comment section down below, and I'll look at it whenever the chapter releases, man, to see how many of y'all got it right, man. So I'll see y'all next time. Have a good one. Gear 5th Luffy. That's what we want to see, baby.